Good morning, good evening, wherever you are across the nation or around the world. I am your hostess with the Moses, Kelly Robertson, aka Earth Song Lovecraft, and this is a Beacon News 777 podcast production for Deja Brew, waking you up to truth. And look, I even have a coffee cup. I'm not holding it straight that way. Deja Brew. Get your coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk Bigfoot. I've been thinking about this a lot the past couple of days. That there's got to be better evidence out there. People like myself who have had firsthand experience, we know for sure, 100%, we 100% believe that they are real, they exist. And fascinating find, the percentage rate of undiscovered life on this planet is actually at around 80%, 80%. That's a huge, startling number. Exciting for Bigfoot discovery and leaves plenty of room for it, but a little intimidating in other ways because what else is out there that we don't know about? Okay, but anyway, today we're going to talk about Bigfoot, and I have found some really great video footage evidence of Bigfoot that I want to share with you. So bear with me just a minute because, you know, it's Mercury retrograde, so everything is moving really slow today. Okay, here we go. Check this out. And we're not going to listen to the whole 6 minutes here. We're just going to watch some of the footage. We'll move on.
Oh, there he goes.
Look at that white one. I love that white one. Look at how far it jumped.
Have been requested. At first glance, it just seems really well unlikely that this could be real. If I'm honest, the first thing that really made me suspicious was actually the description in the video. You know, besides the obvious, some might think it's obviously fake, but it's not that obvious actually when you watch the video. But here, it says, "We have secretly been stalking this particular Bigfoot for weeks." Well, in my opinion, nobody stalks a Bigfoot.
I would. I totally would.
He's huge and still jumped a good 30 feet. Okay, 30 feet. So if we look here, okay, maybe it's like an approximation, but here's the jump there. So if we look at the height, roughly the height of the individual is from there to there. So if you sort of flip that in your mind, sort of flip that from there to there. So they say that this is a So they say 30 feet, so that would have to be 15 feet. Because obviously double that and it's 30. So in that case, it would have to be 15 feet tall, because that's double, more or less. It lands here, so it's more or less double the height of the individual if it's a 30-foot jump. But let's say that it's an average human, say 6 foot, 5'8", 6 foot. Then that would be 6, 12. You're talking a 12-foot jump, which I think is possible for a human to do without injury. Particularly the more fit type of, these parkour people, this kind of athletic people. So I think it's possible to do. Let's play this section. Somebody said in the comments that it's they watched it over and over, and it's obviously a guy on a motorcycle. Well, I thought that could be possible given the sound of the engine.
It's hilarious. I think it's a guy on a motorcycle.
It appears to be coming from this direction, but when we go along here, we can see that it's actually walking there, or running, jogging. In the beginning, there's the sound of a radio. Which could, you might think that it's coming from, that he's using the radio to communicate with that, what might be a person in a suit. But also this radio could be coming from, it could be used for another researcher, which he's possibly working with in the area.
Okay, so I just want to share that clip with you, and I also want to share. Let me get back over to where I'm going. This is a Massachusetts Bigfoot or giant, if you will. Look what's happening. I don't know why it jumped to that other clip. Let me get this back here. Hold on. Okay. My bad. Here we go. Check this out.
Essex County, Massachusetts. This is not Boston area. This is a wooded area.
But it's not far from Boston.
Look, well, Massachusetts is not that big of a state, but look at the power of this thing. Look at the power of this.
Well, I'm not going to deny that that's power.
Every time the thing steps, it just rocks the.
But just look at the muscle structure. I mean,
Like even the pads of its
that
feet,
is-
you
people
can
are
tell
saying
that that's the pads
I
of
think
its
somebody said
feet.
this is 6.6 to.
And you can
7.
see a butt, and you can see dips in its back, like the two dimples of the butt cheeks there. That's not a suit. Okay, I'm going to mute them and just let you watch this footage. I mean, to me, this is very good footage. And we are getting lots of really good footage lately. So that's very impressive. Now I want to go show you a fun clip from the $6 Million Man show in 1976, if you can believe it or not. Actually had an episode where he fought Bigfoot. Oh my gosh, I just hit the wrong thing. Sorry. So, just to set this up for you real quick, apparently this episode is where he battles Bigfoot, which is played by Andre the Giant, only to realize that the Bigfoot is working for the aliens and taking energy from the volcanoes for their alien base.
Easy now, easy.
I mean, can you believe that, guys? They're actually depicting Bigfoot of what we know of them now, right? That their face looks like that of a man, that they can literally pick up a tree right out of the ground and whack you with it if they wanted to. I mean, this is just, and they were telling us this in 1976. Unreal. I mean, freaking unreal. I love it. And I love those sound effects. And then I don't know what the deal is with the arm coming off and him looking robotic. That's pretty wild. Okay, so then what's going on with my computer? I don't even know what the heck just happened. That's the craziest thing ever. I'm just telling you. My electronics have been going bonkers this past week, just like crazy bonkers. All right. Where's another one I want to show you here? This one, I think. This is from That Is Impossible. If you have not watched his stuff, you should go subscribe to him. He does some really great finds. Why did you just change this again on me? Seriously? Oh my God. Unreal. Unreal. All right, here we go.
mysteries in this world. To be honest, we know very little about it. Although we think we know some of it, there's still a lot to discover and
What the hell
unravel.
is that?
And I guess that one of the creepiest and most mysterious topics and videos that we could ever analyze or talk about are sightings of strange creatures that should only exist in myths, tales, and stories told by ancient civilizations or ancient tribes.
It's pitch black out here, as you can watch the screen. Look at that. You can literally drive the car with your lights off.
Get too hot, y'all.
Usually, it's what's that on the right side, dude?
We were playing in there. It was kind of cold. It was in March. He looked this way. He looked down the road, and he said, "Who's that? Who's that guy watching us over there?" And
Look
we
at this
all
white
looked at-
Bigfoot. I love it.
We're like, we didn't know who it was, but whoever it was, he was really big. He was tall. He would stand there and watch us, and every now and then he'd lean over like this, and then he'd stand back up and watch us some more.
However, if we go deeper into this topic, we'll find out that there are a number of people out there nowadays that have come across something that they couldn't fully explain in the woods.
They may take a stick and bang it against a tree. Bang, 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 bang. And us Aboriginals, when we're taught hunting skills, as I taught my son and others, when you hear that banging of a tree, you stop, turn around, and go back where you came from. That's the Bookwas telling you, my family's here. I don't want you coming further.
Now, do you
What
see that banging that they do on the trees? Those wood knocks? That's not something to mess with. We shouldn't be out there doing wood knocks ourselves, because that is actually a sign or a signal from them to us that says you're getting close to the family. You need to stay back, right? Like that's your fair warning. Stay back. The Native Americans understand this. People out here traipsing around in the woods looking for Bigfoot, they don't understand that. That's important to understand. You're going to see why in a minute.
happens if you go further? Well, just go on the internet and look about missing people who went camping and kayaking.
Not only that, there are the missing 411 cases where people suddenly vanish. Hunters, families, children, people that sometimes know their way around, simply vanish.
That isn't always because of the whole Bigfoot thing, though. There's portals and other things going on there too. What did I tell you? Low bandwidth, wonky internet, wonky computer crap. My phone isn't working right. I mean, all kinds of wonky energy. Just like since right before the eclipse, everything's been just freaking out. And it says it's loaded, and here it is still trying to load.
At some of these cases, but before we go into look at some of the most compelling videos that show evidence of the supposed existence of some of these creatures
Oh my goodness. Come on.
in tales and stories. Are you ready? I'm James Leffer, and you're watching the Impossible channel. Welcome aboard. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel with notifications on,
Do the thing.
and, well, the legend of Bigfoot. There are many names that this creature has acquired, including Sasquatch, Stone Giant, Yeti, Skunk Ape, and many more, often based on words of Native American origin. that it's most likely to be found in America. The truth is, there are sightings and evidence that this creature, whatever it is, can actually be found in several places all over the world. And I guess that one of the most compelling videos that has ever been caught on camera is a video published by Ukrainian YouTuber SDNick. And as he writes, I'm not sure who or what this is. This is what he was able to capture on camera while he was hunting in the woods.
And it's pretty freaking cool.
The video itself isn't very long, and there seems to be no background story to it. Everything points to the fact that maybe SDNick actually re-uploaded this small part of the video from another, longer version. It seems that a hunter is in the woods and that actually looks like a Bigfoot or something like that. The creature's gait, the size, and the way it walks, everything points out to the fact that maybe this is as legit as it can get. But because the video is too short, it's very hard to say if this is a hoax or something else. Leave your opinion in the comment section below. What do you think is really going on here, and could this be a legit sighting? SDNick's video is very compelling, but sometimes it's not just what we're seeing. Sometimes it's what we're hearing around us in the woods. And in this next video was captured in Siberia, in western Cyan, by the hunter Sergey, who uploaded his
This
video
is
to
crazy
a YouTube
cool. Watch.
There are actually almost no videos of strange, mysterious, and dark things, with the exception of one video where Sergey decides to investigate this mountain range in Siberia. After getting information from another hunter that the place was not good, that there were things there that they couldn't explain, curious and a good hunter, Sergey decided to investigate for himself. And this is what happened.
So he actually whispers as he talks on his videos, on all of his hunting videos, just to not scare away the animals that he's hunting. Okay.
Creepier and creepier, starting with what appears to be someone screaming very loud in the distance.
You can hear banging also.
Scared and curious about what exactly is going on, Sergey continues 200 more meters deeper into the woods. This is when he finds himself in an area where there are many fallen trees. This is when things start to get eerie. At this point, I remember what native watchman Tom Seward said about Sasquatch knocking on trees as a warning sign, and this is exactly what happens with
They
Sergey.
may even come down and shake some foliage for you if they feel threatened. Originals, when we're taught hunting skills, as I taught my son and others, when you hear that banging of a tree, you stop, turn around, and go back where you came from. That's the book's telling you, my family's here, I don't want you coming further.
He hears what appears to be some sort of knocking on the trees, and somehow Sergey feels that this means danger in sight, and he climbs one of the trees to hide from whatever it is that he feels is surrounding him. This is what happens next.
Тихо. Пошли, пошли, пошли. Опять нахуй. О-о-о. Не боись, не боись, не боись. Тихо, осторожно.
He's one hell of a tree climber, ain't he? I couldn't do that.
After hearing the strange knocking sounds and the vocalization of whatever creature it is that seems to be surrounding him, Sergei hides on top of a tree and there he stays for quite a while. From where he is, you can actually hear a river nearby. This is when things start to get even stranger than they already were. This is what happens next.
Y'all, is that a female Bigfoot out there humming and singing happy-go-lucky in the woods at night? Sounds like to me. And you're getting ready to hear a male also.
At this point, Sergei is confused and scared as one can get. He starts shooting his gun around and he tries to go back to his campsite. So he climbs down the tree, and this is what happens next.
That's two different ones making sounds there. And it almost sounds like it's moaning to me, like maybe he actually shot one of them.
At this point, Sergei the Hunter became the hunted, and he knows that there's something approaching him even though he is trying to get closer to his campsite.
Утро близко. Я вас не боюсь, нахуй. А чё нас делать не боюсь?
Once again, Sergei, in fear, starts shooting around as a warning sign. And this is about it. He goes back to his campsite after recording all of this strange event and uploads the video to YouTube. The video amassed millions of views, with people from all over the world leaving comments about their own experiences with similar things. In your opinion, what do you really think that Sergei encountered in these dark woods? The vocalization is identical to many others that are recorded all over the world. This, to me at least, makes it very believable that maybe it was Bigfoot. And what would you do if you were in Sergei's situation? By accident, and this is sort of what happened with Amanda Reidinger in Provo Canyon in Utah when she was going home late at night and she spotted something chilling just next to the road where she was at. This is what she caught on camera.
Yeah. That's like right here, right around this corner, I think. Like right here somewhere.
Oh, look, right there, right there. Stop, stop, stop. Back up, back up. It was right there. I just saw it. Gosh, you're like going off the road. Crap. It was huge.
Did you see it? What appears to be a giant, ape-like creature seems to be hiding between two trees. It appears it was caught by surprise and it didn't like it. When Amanda goes back with her car, the creature is no longer there.
Now, what do you think about that? Do you see it right there? I mean, I think that's very plausible. Personally, I think that's very plausible, right? You're coming along the road, Bigfoot's out there, all of a sudden, they'll just like freeze, not move. Hope you don't see them. Totally believable to me.
So whatever this thing was, it was quick and it was big. The thing is, we can't see much in this video, but Amanda went through the trouble of actually recreating the scene with an actual human so we can compare. Seems that whatever this creature is about 1 to 2 feet taller than the average human being. And this actually made a lot of people question this video. Is it a hoax? Is it a fake? And while some internet users agree that this might actually be a hoax, others questioned why would she go through all the trouble of making a comparison and investigating further if this were to be fake. So I'm not too sure. I'll leave this one up to you. Is it just a fake, or could it be that Amanda actually encountered something else out there in the woods?
I think she saw Bigfoot.
Now just picture this. It's a bright sunny day in Lattice Lake Park in Florida. And you decide to go canoeing with a couple of friends to enjoy the fresh air, birds chirping, and nature in general. The last thing you expect is to actually have some sort of strange encounter with an unknown creature. And that's sort of what happened with Matt while he was canoeing in one of the Lake Park. He sent his video to Bigfoot Evidence YouTube channel, and this is what he saw.
Now look, like seriously, what would you do, right? Like, what would you really do if you're number one? I would never be in a canoe in a swamp ever. But what would you do if you were in a canoe in a swamp and all of a sudden you came upon a Bigfoot out here in the swamp with the gators? Like, dude, I don't know. I think I would very quietly turn around and get the hell out of there, honestly. I don't think a swamp is where I want to be, where I see a Bigfoot.
Did you see it? Well, luckily Matt and his friend did. They spotted what appears to be a giant skunk-ape creature drinking water from the swamp, and they stood there quietly for as long as they could. But as soon as they started making noises, the creature jumps into the swamp water and starts walking inside of it very quick. Too quick to be a human being. According to Matt, the creature actually walked a few steps, went underwater, and vanished. Matt immediately contacted a ranger, showed her the video, and asked if this could possibly be a bear or something like that. The ranger responded that bears do not usually go inside the swamp because there are 12-foot gators and other dangerous creatures. Not only that, it seems that there aren't many bear sightings specifically in this park. What was it that Matt saw? Now, one thing about Bigfoot is very interesting. Most sightings in the northern half western parts of the United States and western Canada. In fact, Canada has the most
Why is
sightings
the
ever
screen
recorded
black?
of what's supposed to be this human-like creature known as Sasquatch. And I guess that one of the most intriguing videos of such a mission in the province of British Columbia in Canada not so long ago. The video was
Sasquatch.
what appears to be a furry human-like creature can be seen crouching just next to a road immediately start capturing it on camera. However, for some unknown reason, they don't seem to be afraid of it. And there is actually one tourist that tried to get closer to it.
That's just
Then it
crazy.
makes some sort of noise.
She's gonna Rambo
This
that
is when the
shit.
tourists decide to get far away from it as fast as possible. The video was published to Legend Tracker YouTube channel, and at the time, it divided internet users between is this a bear or is it really Bigfoot? What I find interesting in this video is that whoever is capturing this on camera did not capture it very well. Not only that, you can see that everyone else is recording the very beginning of the video. It does seem like this creature, whatever it is, has long arms and long legs, making it improbable to be some sort of bear or something like that, but I'm not too sure. What is your take? Located in east central Arizona, the White Mountain Apache tribe presides over one of the largest tribal lands in the nation. This area is known as the Fort Apache Reservation, or sometimes known as the Honda Apache. The Fort Apache Historic Park includes hundreds to the fort itself. Many people visit this park for elk hunting, fishing, and other year-round outdoor recreation. In May 2020, Candy Tortoise was with a couple of friends in the Apache Reservation late at night when they actually caught something chilling on camera, and this is what happened.
Now, to me, that sounds more like what we would call a werewolf or a dog man than a Bigfoot or a forest people. That would scare the bejesus out of me.
A sinister howling noise can be heard coming not too far from where Candy and her friends were. It left all of them alert and baffled. The video left the internet divided. Some people believe that these could be wolves, and others say that they have heard similar sounds and they believe it is Bigfoot, but I'm not too sure. What do you think is really going on here? Is it Bigfoot or maybe something else?
The biome we chose was the taiga border forest, which is located
And
in
look,
Russia.
this one, just for the record, before we look at this one, I'm just going to say to you, this could have very easily been photoshopped. I don't know that for sure. I'm no expert on all of that. But to me, my spidey sense says this one could have been photoshopped.
Canada and
There's not much information about this next video. It seems like a couple of boys are studying for a test in school when all of a sudden the dog senses something strange behind one of the
Because
windows.
actually, that dog isn't sensing something strange. When you watch, he's looking for his ball. He brings a ball out. He doesn't even notice this.
It's exactly when the curtain opens Whatever this is, it was coined as a Bigfoot sighting, and I can't say for sure. The video is too short. However, it doesn't seem like a fake to me, taking into consideration that dogs and cats have an extra sense when it comes
Yeah,
to identifying.
dogs and cats do have an extra sense. I don't think it sensed it at all. I think that one's bogus.
However, they were able to capture some of it on camera, and this is what they saw.
Yeah, this was a family just thought they saw a deer till it got up.
That is not a human.
At first, they thought it was a deer or maybe a human. It's when the creature gets up and walks away very fast that they find out that it's none of them. It's something that they had never seen before, and they wouldn't even know. However, if you think about it, it's not always that you have a camera ready with you to capture something unexpected. The thing is, most of the times, we're not ready to capture anything at all. And in most legit videos, people only capture half of it or even less. But I'm not too sure. What would you say? Now let's just take this moment to think about it. If Bigfoot does really exist, there should be more types of videos of it, such as security cameras, dash cams, and so on and so forth.
Which is exactly what I was thinking.
Well, a couple of years ago, a police dash cam was able to capture something baffling on camera while two police officers
And
were chasing
I'm
a
sure
car
that
late
several
at
of you have
night
seen
in
this
Georgia.
already.
What they captured on camera
This one's
left
nothing
them
new.
baffled. This is what happened.
Kicking in your door, I can articulate that in court. They have got no good intentions. Their intentions are to harm you. I can very, very easily articulate that. But they will though. The old ladies in this county, they'll liable to shoot first, ask questions after they've got your body. Oh, don't you know? Yeah. County said I'm 12 years old, had the farm, daddy's farm, still got the land, and anybody coming on my property looking for no good, I'm a What the crap?
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yes. I was seeing things actually.
Oh my goodness, please tell me we got that on audio, video.
Probably would have almost had
Hot pursuit.
So, I don't know what the heck it is. It's something going. See it?
Where's that?
It's right over there. I don't know what it. Now it's.
The video footage is blurry. However, we can actually see what appears to be a huge creature walking on its two legs, crossing the road, taking only
I love how
3
our police
steps
officer was right there ready to Rambo that shit and go after it and see what the hell it is. Love that.
to do it. This would mean that whatever this thing is, it is not human. And by the cops' reaction, it's definitely something that they had never seen before.
Oh, the heck? Yes.
In the video, you can see them turning around and searching for whatever this thing is, without any success. In your opinion, is this just a blurry video of a human being crossing the road, or is it...
It's Bigfoot. Okay.
around the countryside?
Now, I'm
in town
sure a
called
lot of
West-
you have seen this video too, but personally, I have never seen the very ending part of this where it shows that the driver actually stops the car and gets out for a moment.
moments they stop to try to identify what it is that's following them, if it's a human being or if it's a bear or if it's something else. I think the video speaks for itself. You can actually feel what the family was feeling through this video. They were scared of this humanoid-like creature. Take a look for yourself.
Снимаешь? Да, снимаю. Где он? Вон он стоит. Сейчас стой вот так отсюда. Пиздец, он скрылся. Он Ой, ничего туда нету! Не подходи! Леша, едь!
Ну как, где он? Погоди, стой. Снимай.
Снимай.
У тебя зум, есть зум? Прибавь изображение побольше, можешь?
Могу.
2 пальцами.
Прибавила.
Я поближе.
Леш.
Леша!
Закрой, не выходи, Леша!
Паникуйте его сейчас.
At this exact moment, it seems the driver gets out of the car to check exactly what it is that's going on. Is it a human being? Is it something else? Is it something that's following them, or is it just a coincidence? Well, this is what happened next.
Он бежит.
He's like, motherfucker, I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Он идет. Леш! Он бежит.
Аделина,
А?
открой, пожалуйста, окно и телефон сын, чтобы четко было. Он все равно нас не догонят, он медленнее. Юра, снимай, да, вот так вот.
Господи. Все, окей, давай, снимаю. Только главное, едь.
The creature seems to be getting closer and closer. The driver now asks the passenger in the back seat to open the window and capture it all on camera. However, things don't go as expected.
Все, домой, нет?
Да, домой!
The video ends abruptly without us knowing exactly what was going on. However, it's legit. Bigfoot's own YouTube channel was the first to analyze this video, so I'm not too sure what is the original source. What do you think is really going on here? Is this some type of unknown creature, or is it just someone pranking them?
Okay, and I'm sure you've all seen this one before, where they see the Bigfoot out by the shed during Christmas and the dog chases after it. So I'm just going to skip that one, even though it is good footage. And, you know, you're welcome to click on this and subscribe to him and watch that part if you wish.
And in the early 1970s, Al Berry and his longtime friend Ron Moorhead went into the woods of the Sierra Nevada mountains in eastern California and collected a series of what appears to be big the Sierra sounds.
Do you hear that language that they're speaking? That's some type of language, you all. Listen. It's almost like it laughed or he laughed and was like, ha ha, can you believe this motherfucker? He's doing like a Simon Says game with me or shit, echoing back at me, right? Like that's so funny to me because I have heard them actually have their language talking to each other. And it's something that sounds like you feel like you should be able to understand what it is. You just can't hear it well enough to comprehend it. But on some level, you feel like you know, or you should know what it is they're saying. Like it's very close to our language.
Look at the big rocks.
Now, there are many theories to what is really going on here. Some people say that this is actually fake. The illegal Chinese immigrants that were hiding deep in the woods. So they try to scare off the hunters.
That's like the funniest excuse I've ever heard for somebody trying to say it's not Bigfoot. It's just Chinese immigrants hiding in the woods, trying to pretend to be Bigfoot to run you off. Hilarious.
With these mysterious sounds. However, it is sad that experts and researchers have analyzed these sounds and have confirmed that this is not a human being. And if you compare these sounds with many other sounds that are recorded in different videos from all over the world, they are very similar.
I hope you can hear this, Al.
Kind of sounds doggish, hyena-ish, but you can hear it going off in the background right now. It's really kind of strange, just to say the least. It's been going off for about 15-20 minutes so far since it started. It's probably only 200 feet, 300 feet from me right now. I don't know what it is.
In other words, this could be the real deal. And maybe somewhere out there, there are unknown and unidentified creatures, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and many others that live somewhere hidden in our woods, caves, and mountains.
Do you see it? Right there. It's like it's digging in the hollow tree for, I don't know, grubs or something.
What is your take about Bigfoot and other types of unknown creatures? Do you think that we already know every creature? There's much more out there that we don't know of. And have you ever encountered?
That's right. Don't be shy. If you have a story and you want to share it, I want to hear about it. Let's put it on the channel. You can email me if you don't want your voice on video or your face on video. That is perfectly fine. But I want to hear from you. Now, we're going to go over to my Twitter, also known as X, because there's some more Bigfoot stuff there I want to show you that were pretty good videos. And tomorrow, we're going to look at some pretty darn good videos of aliens and UFOs and the Lizzie people. And some of that stuff actually is very recent, that just has shown up the day of the eclipse or the day after the eclipse. So that's pretty intriguing and interesting to me, and I want to share it with you. And as soon as I can get my pictures from eclipse day off of my new camera and onto the computer, I want to show you what I captured on video during the eclipse, which was some pretty fascinating stuff in and of itself. I'm not quite sure what I have there, but it's something for sure. It's something. All right, so I want to start with this right here. Let me go back to share my screen. Here we go. Check out this sign. This is an actual sign that somebody showed to Rocky Mountain Bigfoot. It says, warning, Bigfoot breeding area, no camping, hike at your own risk, avoid eye contact, and play dead if cornered. You know, like if they want to do the thing, play dead. Craziness. Craziness. Okay, this is the giant Hoffman Sasquatch on video, massive Sasquatch captured on video, Hoffman Bigfoot footage. And I think that is a still shot from the video. But you can see the muscles all through its back and its arm. I mean, that's clearly not a suit. And, you know, it's not like that long, crazy hair like a lot of them are depicted. I honestly, I'm kind of on the fence over whether or not all of them are truly that hairy on their own, or if they're like wearing fur pelts, you know, fur skins that makes them look more bushy at certain times, you know. Okay, this one's a video. This is the Idaho Bigfoot video. And let me make this. NVTV. Let me just share my blonde moment with you. Like earlier when I saw this, I'm just thinking the letters NVTV. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what NB stands for. And then when I said that in my head, it hit me. And I'm like, oh, that's what it means. Because I'm that kind of blonde. Sometimes. For a smart girl, I can be really dingy. Okay, so this says, when we first saw this incredible footage, we were like, is this even real or is it a man in a suit? After watching the clip and looking at the amount of detail in this suit, we thought this is something you cannot buy online. The Bigfoot in the video looks very real, and you could even make out the heavy build and all the muscles, which is hard to replicate using a fake suit. Agreed. Plus, who in their right mind would rent or buy a suit just to pull off a hoax? For what? There is no gain in that other than being ridiculed and called out for your so-called efforts. Well, I mean, that's true. I don't really see any point in people dressing up in the suit. And I think that's a ridiculous thing to do and a ridiculous thing to suggest when you see a Bigfoot picture or video. Watch. Watch. Shh. Quiet on the set. That's the video of the still shot you saw. I mean, look at the curve in his back and the whole butt thing. You've got like a whole, you know, there's a chunk of ass there that leads into the back nicely, leads down into the thigh nicely. Like that's not a suit, man. That's something's real ass. And you can even see his ear. Like pay attention, you can see his ear and he's got like real hair. It's not like your typical depiction of a hairy beast ape type creature. This is a hairy man. Forest folk. The real deal. I mean, look at that. The stride, the upright. Look how big those calves are. This dude is massively strong. Massively. I mean, this is such impressive footage to me. shape of the face shape. This is clearly a human face shape. You see here, right there, a couple times you can see his ear exposed. There's some hairy monkey thing. I don't think you would see that much detail like this. This is the real deal, y'all. This is like so much better footage than even the what's her name? The female one that they filmed in California a long time ago. I forget what they named her. That's the still shot that I showed you first. Plus his fingernails are white. If it was an ape, we would have black nails. And look at that ear. You can clearly see his ear, and then how the hair starts again here, like sideburns, and the chin strap. What's that called? The chops coming down. Because their faces actually look very human. They're not completely covered in fur or hair. And very human. Not a suit, right? That's the bottom of his foot. That's the sole of his foot. He's just strolling along. It's like he's in thinking mode, contemplating life or some shit. Okay, so anyway, we're going to move on now to this next one. As soon as I can get my screen to cooperate with me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I say, come on, y'all. All right, finally. And of course, it took me all the way back to the beginning. Let me try this again. All right. Let me get back down here and find this other one. But yeah, I mean, Bigfoot's totally real. This is some species of human. I don't know how they fit into the whole evolutionary tree or however you call that, but they are definitely a type of human species. What's this one here? Okay, so this is actually just a short 2-minute clip that's a very good point to make that I want to share with you. And I actually learned a couple of things from watching this 2-minute clip, things that I just really didn't even realize were real. All right, so listen to, is it muted? There. All right, let's start over here.
There are many examples of creatures that at first seemed mythical, or their descriptions seemed hard, such as the Komodo dragon, a giant lizard that would eat sheep whole. The narwhal, a whale with a horn on its head like a unicorn.
Unicorn whale.
The pelican, an incredibly common bird in contemporary life, was at one time thought to be a mythological creature back in the Middle Ages.
I mean, did you know that? I didn't know.
How about this? The giant squid. For millennia, since at least the days of Aristotle in the 4th century BC, sailors would swear up at sea.
There are thousands of depictions and stories of people who claim to have creature.
It's another in a long line of fanciful tales of make-believe sea monsters like the Kraken. Squids just don't get that big. There's no evidence.
Until one day, there is.
Throughout the 19th century, small pieces and remains of giant squid would periodically wash up on the world's beaches. These would convince some scientists of the giant squid's existence, but others kept on denying it. They'd say that until we find a living one, it's simply not proven.
It wasn't until a fishing trawler caught one in 2004 that we realized that squids of this size actually exist.
They catch a nearly 30-foot-long giant squid that's later named Archie. It's been preserved by London's Natural History Museum and can still be viewed today. Proof positive of a giant squid. So, hopefully one day Bigfoot can join the giant squid as a proven animal.
Yes.
But it could be tough.
A lot of people like to believe that all life has been discovered when it's quite the opposite. Over 80% of life on this planet is undiscovered. So absolutely, a Bigfoot species could be out there.
80%. I mean, really, who knew 80% of the world hadn't been discovered yet? Back here again. I don't know why it keeps jacking me around. Ay, ay, ay. Gotta love technical stuff, right? Gotta roll with it. That's a crazy looking picture. That's a crazy looking picture. And we'll talk about that stuff in another video. Trust me, we totally will. Okay, somewhere down here. Here we go. We're getting to it now. Okay, this is also from Rocky Mountain Bigfoot, and that's just a photo, a still shot of a Bigfoot in the background watching this deer, and I think that was caught on a game camera, if I remember correctly. So that's a good one. And then this, I wanted you to see this clip. This is from a 1987 movie, I guess. And I'm not even sure which movie this was. But I find it very interesting that this says Bigfoot, friendly forest giant or kidnapper of children. Now watch how this plays out. Let me start it over. So the little girl has a hurt leg and the brother's helping her.
Go back away, don't run.
And just watch, y'all, because this is showing that Bigfoot is actually backing that bear down to protect them. Okay. And by the way, the little girl is Candace Cameron when she was a child, which is kind of cool.
Kevin? Hey, you. Come on. Stop that. Get away from her. Go on, shoo. Shoo, you're telling something like this to shoo? Ow! Get away from her! Don't hurt him!
And I also want to point out that, again, in 1987, they're depicting Bigfoot as a man-looking creature, right? Like a Neanderthal or a caveman-looking person, more barbaric than us, maybe in some ways, but still understands the whole dynamic here. He understands that the little girl's foot is hurt. He understands that the bear will eat them, and watch what happens next.
What's he doing?
And he also understood that she didn't want her brother hurt.
Hey! Put her down! I said put her down! Wait for me!
See? He's actually leading them away, carrying the girl, because she's injured. She can't run to get away from the bear. And the boy, he can just follow, right? This is a giant footprint that's in the side of a rock, which is incredible to me. If you've never seen this video, this is amazing.
This is from more close up.
I mean, look at it. It's as big as this man that's standing there.
Okay. Well, I don't know who else has filmed this, but I think we'll put this up for everybody to see, for everyone to really appreciate. This is a spectacular bit of human history. There were giants on Earth. It's pulled up.
There were giants
This
on Earth.
overhang here. It's spectacular. And I see that people have been visiting here because they've been leaving little coins here, which is wonderful.
I mean, that's
maybe just
every bit of 3.5, 4 feet in length, right?
come closer and show this from more close up.
And you'll notice 1, 2, 3,
Well,
4, 5
I don't
toes.
know who else has filmed this, but
5 toes, not 6. There's a lot of popular misconception that giants only have 6, are only 6-toed and 6-fingered, and that's not accurate at all. Not at all. And this is a really great video by Robert Zephyr that we're going to look at. And look, my controls aren't working. So this intro here, I'm just going to say that he finds some really great accounts of things, and if you have not watched his stuff, go to YouTube and subscribe to him, because he's an anthropologist and he does some really great stuff. And his wife makes all the music and plays it on ukuleles and all kinds of different cool little instruments, which I also enjoy.
Cryptozoology is a field that aims to prove the existence of mythical entities from folklore, usually rejected in the mainstream, but not totally ruled out either. Probably the most notable example is of an elusive, human-like hominid that is said to inhabit forests or mountains. In 1958, journalist Andrew Genzoli of the Humboldt Times highlighted a fun, if dubious, letter from a reader about loggers in Northern California who discovered mysteriously large footprints. Quote, "Maybe we have a relative
I'm gonna grab
of the
some tea
abominable
real quick.
snowman of the Himalayas," Genzoli jokingly wrote in his September 21st column alongside the letter. His article received a lot of interest from the public, so Genzoli and another journalist named Betty Allen published follow-up articles about the footprints, reporting the name loggers had given to the so-called creature who left the tracks, Bigfoot. So allegedly, that's where the name was born, but earlier accounts of the term may have been documented. Regardless, The most popular modern U.S. concept of Bigfoot can be traced directly to the Humboldt Times stories in 1958, but there are many other various myths concerning large, wild men from around the world. For example, in Western Canadian folklore, native stories about a large creature that lives in the forest footprints have been documented, some measuring up to 24 inches in length, as well as some questionable video and his Siberian counterpart, the Almas, could be a remnant of Neanderthal. Was not a giant specimen, nor do I believe he had a hairy body like most primates. In Asia, we have stories of something called a Yeti, also known as the abominable snowman of the Himalayas. Said to be a large bipedal creature that leaves tracks in the snow, it is also said to dwell below the Himalayan snow line. Despite dozens of expeditions into the remote mountain regions of Russia, China, and Nepal, the existence of the Yeti remains unproven. In 1921, a journalist named Henry Newman interviewed a group of British explorers who had just returned from a Mount Everest expedition. The explorers told the journalist that they had discovered some very large footprints on the mountain, to which their guides had attributed to Mito
1,
Kangmi,
2, 3, 4,
essentially
5
meaning
toes.
man-bear snowman.
Man,
The
bear,
journalist got the
snowman.
snowman part right, but mistranslated Mita as filthy. Then he seemed to think abominable sounded even better and used this more menacing name in the paper. So that's where that name came from. The Yeti is said to be a muscular, with reddish-brown hair and weighing over 200 pounds. It is described as relatively short compared to North American Bigfoot, averaging about 6 feet in height, but that's still taller than the average height of the locals.
And I just want you to look at this face for a moment. Look at those lips. Those are very much human lips. That's a very much human nose, human eyes, human eyebrows, forehead. This, if anything, is Neanderthal. Not some elusive creature, but a once thought extinct race of human.
It's relatively short compared to North American Bigfoot.
And by the way, for those of you that don't know, we have an official Indiana research group for paranormal, encrypted, and metaphysical research. And we are on a mission in 3 main areas. And one of those areas is to prove that Bigfoot are a type of human.
Averaging about 6 feet in height, but that's still taller than the average height of the locals. In the ancient legends and folklore of the Himalaya people, the Yeti should be avoided like dangerous wild animals, and one should stay close and safe within the community. Alexander the Great demanded to see the Yeti when he conquered the Indus Valley in 326 BC, but according to National Geographic, local people told him that they were unable to present one because the creatures were so rare at low altitudes. In 2013,
Now, I
Oxford
just want to
geneticist
mention here that when I do the podcast segment on UFOs and aliens, there's another piece about Alexander the Great where he has encounters with UFOs as well.
Brian Sykes put out a call to all Yeti believers and institutions around the world claiming to have a piece of Yeti hair, teeth, or tissue taken from a sighting.
Does any of that look like animal hair to you, or does that look more like human hair? I mean, really.
He received 57 samples, 36 of which were chosen for DNA testing, and compared with the genomes of other animals stored on a
I don't know what that
database of
is.
all published DNA sequences. Most of the samples turned out to be
A
from
scalp.
well-known animals, such as cows, horses, and bears, with 2 of the samples coming from the jawbone of a Pleistocene polar bear that lived sometime between 40,000 and 120,000 years ago. The word Sasquatch is believed to come from a Salish word meaning wild man or hairy man. That said, since the primary evidence comes from the large footprints and legends, it seems highly probable that rather than belonging to a hominid creature that resembles a Wookiee from Star Wars, the Bigfoot legends may actually be based on larger than average people, which in some cases were historically referred to as giants, which were bearded rather than with bodies entirely covered with fur. If this is the case, one can expand to include many other myths and legends passed down by native tribal people from various lands. According to numerous written and oral legends of Native American tribes, a race of white giants has existed in the distant past, and in some cases, the tribes have maintained some empirical evidence. According to Paiute Indian oral legends, a tribe called the Sitka were a tribe of tall, red-haired giants that once occupied the area in the distant past.
Red-haired, reddish brown
Amazingly,
hair.
9,400-year-old mummified remains were indeed found in a cave in Nevada, and while controversial private testing was published in this case, independent scientific study is not allowed on the remains for political reasons, and only a drawing of a photograph of the remains is permitted.
You're
Sarah
right.
Winnemucca Hopkins, a
What would
prominent
make
female
that be
Native
safe?
American activist, educator, and daughter of Paiute Chief Winnemucca, related many stories passed down in her tribe firsthand about the Sitka in her book, Life Among the Paiutes, published in 1883. Quote, "My people say that the tribe we exterminated had reddish hair. I have some of their hair, which has been handed down from father to son. I have a dress, which has been in our family a great many years, trimmed with the reddish hair. I'm going to wear it sometime when I lecture. It's called a mourning dress, and no one has such a dress but my family." Her book also tells of an alliance between the various tribes to help Paiutes in defeating a group of giants with red hair who had taken refuge in Lovelock Cave. A large fire was set at the entrance of the quarry to get them out, but the giants refused, so it was that many of them died of suffocation and others burned alive. In the early 20th century, archaeologists found thousands of artifacts, and as I said, skeletal remains inside the Lovelock Cave to show that it was not a mere myth and that the Paiutes told the truth.
For more than a century, a story has persisted about the skeletons of giants being found in Lovelock Cave in northern Nevada.
And for many years, human remains tribes for burial.
If oversized bones from the so-called Lovelock giants ever existed, they are no longer available to the public. But their story behind the legend still remains.
The I-Team's George Knapp has more.
Slicing through the bone-dry Humboldt Sink on a long dirt road, it's hard to imagine that all of this was once underwater. Remnants of a vast ancient lake can still be seen in the distance. For generations of first Americans, this was a lush paradise of tules, fish, and waterfowl. Humans have climbed this same narrow path up the jagged mountain for more than 4,000 years. That's how long indigenous peoples lived in and around the Lovelock Cave. The roof of the cave is still coated with soot from countless campfires. According to tribal lore, a race of red-headed giants made its last stand in this cave.
Among the Paiutes, would most of them say that the giants were real?
All that I've talked to say yes. I've never heard anybody say no.
Devoy Monk has spent all of her 80-plus years in Lovelock. Her family's home today houses a small museum, jam-packed with artifacts and depictions documenting centuries of native culture and pioneer life. Monk has earned the trust of Paiute elders who say the stories are true, that the red-headed interlopers not only killed but ate their ancestors.
My Indian friends tell me they were cannibals, that they set traps, and we have a paper in the other room, that they dug holes in the pathways and where they walked, and then covered them, and then the Indians would fall in, and they said the best part to eat were the thighs.
Famed Nevadan Sarah Winnemucca first wrote
Not
in
my
her
thighs, I
acclaimed
got chicken
book
legs.
that the Paiutes waged a 3-year war against a tribe of red-headed cannibals before trapping and then killing the last of them inside Lovelock Cave. Mainstream archaeologists have vigorously rejected the entire story, to the point that the State Museum in Winnemucca admonishes visitors at its front entrance that the red-headed giants are a myth. Bill Snodgrass, the curator of the Marsden House Museum in Lovelock, thinks there is reasonable basis for parts of the story. In the early 20th century, guano miners began excavating the Lovelock Cave and uncovered thousands of artifacts. Later scientific excavations found troves of native antiquities along with bones. Some human remains were destroyed. Others were sent to museums for display. A
That
few,
dude had some creepy
Snodgrass
eyes.
says, were consumed in bizarre initiation rituals. He adds there is evidence, including basketry, of an unknown culture that lived near the cave. Records show some of them had red hair.
There was definitely a different people here.
Many, if not most, of the visitors who end up at the Marsden House Museum have questions about the red-headed cannibals. The locals still enjoy the debate.
Whether the red-headed giants ever existed, visits to the two museums are worth the drive up to Winnemucca and Lovelock. The Lovelock Cave is in Churchill County, off the beaten path, but not hard to find.
A mummy has been discovered, a mummy that may reveal the secrets of an even older society, one that dates back to the dawn of civilization.
This is extremely significant. This is unprecedented. We haven't had a find of this importance in my lifetime.
One thing that makes the mummy, known as the Spirit Caveman, so important are these fine hand-woven fabrics discovered at the burial site.
These textiles represent an extremely sophisticated ability to weave fabric by hand in a time where we didn't realize that people were doing that before.
The mummy was discovered tightly bound up in this matting. Out of respect for the dead, this photograph and this drawing are the only two pictures scientists will allow to be publicly displayed. Recent tests reveal that the mummy is 9,000 years old. That's 3 times older than any other mummy yet discovered in North America. That news has stunned archaeologists because a mummy can tell scientists how people back then lived, what diseases they had, even what food they ate. Scientists can get that information by studying the mummy's DNA. That requires cutting a small piece of tissue from the body.
That it shouldn't be done.
And that, says Paiute Shoshone tribal leader Alvin Moyles, is desecrating the dead. The mummy was discovered near it cannot find peace until the body has been properly reburied.
You are bothering the spirit. They're not to be bothered. They're put to rest, and that's where they should be left.
But scientists claim that the mummy is so old that he couldn't possibly be related to the Paiute Shoshones, that the mummy's tribe was here thousands and thousands of years before anybody else.
They do not appear similar to any living Native American in North America. They have receding cheekbones, narrow face, long face. Some Indians have some of those traits, but as a group, those are Caucasoid traits. Those are Caucasoid traits. Those are Caucasoid traits.
The two sides are now caught in a catch-22. One way to prove kinship is through the DNA test. But the tribe doesn't want that because it would require further disturbance of the remains.
The DNA evidence would be definitive for ruling out certain groups. You can't necessarily prove with it which group it was, but you can rule out contending parties.
Until a decision can be made, the mysterious Spirit Cave mummy will remain trapped in limbo.
Yeah, he's kind of in legal, spiritual, ethical limbo.
In Carson City, Nevada, Vince Sterla, Channel 3 reports.
Even mummies can't avoid the law and bureaucracy, it appears. Many archaeologists agree it's entirely possible the mummy is not related to any existing tribe in North America.
Yeah, it
They
sounds
all
like
agree.
the mummy predated most of the Indian tribes from
Sounds
that part
that
of the
way.
country.
There are many stories from many different Indian tribes like Hopi, Comanche, and others who speak of a mysterious race of giants with white skin and blonde or red hair who lived in the Americas thousands of years ago that mysteriously disappeared from the face of the planet, but in some cases leaving behind large bones and skulls, many which were dug up and documented in articles. South America. Patagonia is a region in southern Argentina and Chile, extending from the Andes to the Atlantic, and there are many accounts of a legendary race of extremely tall people that were first mentioned by Ferdinand Magellan and his crew, who claimed to have seen them while exploring the coastline of South America in the 1520s.
Now, before we talk about Magellan, I want you to put it in the comments. I want you to talk to me. Let's open a dialogue. Let's figure this out. What are your opinions? Are the giants and the Sasquatch the same people? Or are they two completely different races of humans that exist alongside of us? I really want to know what you think about this. I want to open this dialogue, and I'm going to be going into the field and doing research, my own methods of research, unlike anything that's ever been done before, to try to find out the truth.
Antonio Pigafetta, a crew member and chronicler of Magellan's
Antonio,
expedition, wrote
Antonio.
about their encounter, and I quote, "One day we suddenly saw a naked man of giant stature on the shore of the port, dancing, singing, and throwing dust on his head.
Yay.
The captain general sent out one of our men to the giant so that he might perform the same actions as a sign of peace. Having done that, the man led the giant to an islet where the captain general was and made signs with one finger raised upward, believing that we had come from the sky. He was so tall that we reached only to his waist, and he was well proportioned. The captain named these people Patago in Portuguese."
Now let's think about that for a minute. Because we are told that the giants are the fallen ones, the Nephilim, that they came from the sky. Yet here we have a first-hand account of meeting and seeing giants that thought we came from the sky. Plot twist, anyone?
And Patagon by his men in Spanish, traditionally said to be from pata, meaning foot. However, the gon suffix remains unexplained and was interpreted to mean land of the big feet. Many other accounts of giants in South America followed, and in 1579, Sir Francis Drake's ship chaplain Francis Fletcher wrote about encountering very tall Patagonian natives, saying that, and I quote, "Magellan was not altogether deceived in naming them giants, for they generally differ from the common sort of men, both in stature and strength of body, as also in the hideousness of their voice, but yet they are nothing so monstrous or giant-like as they were reported." He reduced the height of the Patagonians from 10 feet to 7.5 feet. In the 1590s, William Adams, an Englishman aboard a Dutch ship grounding Tierra del Fuego, reported a hostile encounter between his ship's crew and abnormally tall and powerful natives. In 1766, Captain John Byron had circumnavigated the world and word had leaked that the crew had seen 10-foot tall giants in South America, the official account of Byron's voyage appearing in 1773, and I quote, "When we came within a little distance from the shore, we saw, as near as I can guess, about 500 people, some on foot, but the greater part on horseback. One of them, who afterwards appeared to be a chief, came towards me. He was of a gigantic stature, and seemed to realize the tales of monsters in a human shape. If I may judge of his height by the proportion of his stature to my own, it could not be much less than 7 feet. Mr. Cummings, one of Byron's officers, came up with the tobacco as a gift, consonants upon perceiving himself, though 6 feet 2 inches high, become a pygmy among giants. For these people may indeed more properly be called giants than tall men, the shortest of whom were at least 4 inches taller." In his book, History of the Indians, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Natchez, from 1899,
That's my
Horatio
people.
Bardwell Cushman wrote, quote, "The tradition of Choctaw, a race of giants once lived in the state of Tennessee, and with which their ancestors had to fight when they arrived in Mississippi in their migration from the west. The tradition says that the individuals of the giant breed, known as Nuhulu, possessed an impressive stature." Cushman noted that over time the term Nuhulu became common to refer to all white giants with which the Choctaws fought after crossing the Mississippi River. According to the story from 1857, the Comanche chief Rolling Thunder said, quote, "Many moons ago, a race of tall white men 10 feet tall, and much more rich and powerful than any white person living now, who inhabited a large part of the country, stretching from dawn to dusk, their fortifications were crowning the tops of the mountains, protecting their cities located in the intermediate valleys. They exceeded all other nations in all kinds of trades. They were smart and brave individual warriors who ruled the land they had wrested from their former owners. The pale faces today would look like pygmies compared to the giants, both in their art and in their arms. In the opinion of the Comanche chief, the Great Spirit destroyed them when they forgot all about justice and mercy, becoming too proud." The Navajo is another ancient tribe that provides evidence of white giants they call the people of Starnik, describing them as a race of white giants, the largest mining technology that had built tribe. Eventually, the mysterious Starnik became extinct or back in the heavens. In Aztec mythology, giants were the builders of the cities of Teotihuacan. The inhabitants reported that at the time of the Spanish conquest, they themselves had killed the last giants on earth. In the ancient city of Manta in Peru, they speak of a race of giants who, in the past, coexisted with them. Their legends say they came from the coast in large boats, as large ships, a group of men of a size such that its height was almost twice the size of a normal man. Their limbs were all in proportion, and it was monstrous to see their heads with hair that reached behind them. Their eyes were as big as small dishes. In folklore from all over Europe, giants were believed to have built the remains of previous civilizations. While beards were traditionally part of many ancient European civilizations, and by extension,
And there are many, many places on Earth that are said by the locals, the Aboriginals, the Indigenous, that they were built by giants, that are impossible feats for man to have done. Now, we also know that what we call Bigfoot and Sasquatch are incredibly strong. They can grab a tree and pull it right out of the ground by its roots. They can snap a tree over like it's nothing, right? They can pick it up and whale it down a hillside like it's nothing. They are incredibly strong. So why couldn't they build incredibly fabulous stone temples? Why couldn't they? And maybe they are the remnants of the ones that were killed by the Native Americans and all of the indigenous peoples. at one time almost completely eradicated for whatever reason. Cannibalism, warring, stealing their women and their children, maybe. I mean, we don't really know for sure. But perhaps they're so few and far between now and want to remain hidden from us for those reasons. I mean, think about it. They're so much larger and stronger than us. If they really wanted to, they could wipe us out and take us over. But they're not. So do they have a folklore and a mythology or a history story that's being passed down from generation to generation about how they were almost wiped out? Because like these indigenous people say, they were too big for their britches and forgot about compassion, got too technically advanced, and God wiped them out. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, seems I've heard that story somewhere.
Extension, the ancient Middle East, North Africa, and Eurasia, as they once shared the same ethnic demographic. They were certainly not wild apes. Often lacked facial hair themselves. They were usually then deified and responsible for the world's earliest examples of agriculture, megalithic stone monuments, architecture, clothing, metal, domesticated animals, and were absolutely seafaring. It seems logical then,
Absolutely
given
seafaring.
the evidence and lack thereof, that the hunt for the mythical Bigfoot should not be a search for a tall, primitive, simian creature like an upright walking gorilla, but for the last possible remnants of a lost, forgotten race, highly intelligent, whose global civilization underwent major catastrophe, who were humbled by what appears to be a periodic cataclysm that afflicts the earth after long intervals, and from which we ourselves suffer a collective amnesia. It could be that the myth of Bigfoot may have a lot more in common with other ancient legends, such as the long-haired bearded gods of mythology, the titans of Atlantis, or even the giants of the Bible. My name is Robert Sepper. I'm an anthropologist.
Right. And I'm going to leave that there. Lots of food for thought for everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast presentation. And as promised, the next one will be on UFOs and aliens. I've got some great footage to share with you there. I just have to put it all together. And the channel's taking a whole new direction where we're going to be boots on the ground doing some research. I'm also going to be sharing evidence from other people of the existence of all of these different things that I've been trying to teach and tell about. And we're going to be going into the field and visiting some haunted locations, but not for the same reason that typical paranormal channels would be there. And doing some real research, again, completely unlike anything that's ever been conducted before. And some pretty neat experiments will happen as well. And so we're just getting it all lined up and getting the calendar straight on it all. And then you'll be seeing some of those videos as well. So stay tuned for all of that. And I'll see you again soon. Peace out.